from Andrew Jackson, who had slaughtered millions and millions of my people here in the United States. And
not just
here,
Andrew
my
Jackson.
people, indigenous people,
Horatio Storer, who
are
invented
considered
pro-life,
to be just as worthless as immigrants, and we're treated just the same with as much, if not more, unequal rights. So my question to you is, within the system, how are you going to honor those treaties, those ones such as Treaty of Fort Wise, Little Arkansas's Treaty of Fort Laramie, the Ute Treaty of 1868. How are you going to honor those, like step-by-step processes? If you're going to bring in my people, how are you going to bring in my people to get a seat at the table? And when it comes to getting those equal rights for us and the immigrants, how are you going to do that as well? What we get that the system is broken, but what are you going to do to glue it together to make it more functional and adequate to assist us in getting, correct citizenship? America was built off immigration. Why did we stop?
Well, I think we stopped because, unfortunately, Donald Trump was elected president of the United States. And historically, there has been, if you look historically, there are moments in the country's history when you have.
When I asked him why Trump isn't in jail, he said at least he lost.
Approaches to
but Michael
immigration,
Bennet, you lost
you
as
have a more
well.
conservative approach that kind of goes back and forth.
You didn't try to overthrow
Donald
the
Trump,
country.
I think, unfortunately, as I said, I think we passed the bill in 2013. We wouldn't have elected him president, and these issues would have been dealt with. And what we will end up with very specifically is the stuff that I talked about earlier. There's 4 components to the bill. I just want to mention that I was at the site of the Sand Creek Massacre 2 weeks ago with Deb Haaland, who's the first Native American Interior Secretary in America, and we were doubling the acreage at Sand Creek as a result of funding that I was able to get through appropriations packages. We also passed a record amount of money for water infrastructure in the infrastructure bill to try to meet treaty obligations that we have never met, to fulfill the unfilled need that Native Americans have had with respect to water in the Southwest, the Ute, Mountain Ute, and the Southern Ute tribes here in Colorado. And we got to keep pushing. It's interesting that you mentioned the Little Arkansas Treaty. That was, without revealing what was discussed, when I had a meeting with Deb Haaland after the public session with the tribal leadership, there was a lot of discussion about that particular treaty.